So just a short one. Yeah, this is South Africa. You wake up to no water and no electricity. I have a pump and a JoJo tank, but the pump doesn't work when there's no electricity. So, yeah, yeah. So no water, no electricity. Don't know when either are going to come back on. Literally just had a few liters of water that I put into a pot on a gas stove. Thank goodness I've got gas. And I heated it up, and I think it's called a cowboy bath or something like that. So I'm literally just bathing in a pot that I use to make soup. Again, once you become used to these, I don't know, what would you say? Once you get used to the water, electricity, and just the functioning way of things, and then like 100 years ago, this was the norm. For how much of human history was it just the absolute norm? And I just think about like when you lived in, hot climates and sub-Saharan stuff, and just you never really got to drink cold water. Remember in that Back to the Future 3 when Dr. Brown, he goes back to the old west, the Wild West, and he makes a fridge, and it pops out like 5 cubes of ice, and so yeah, again, how we become so comfortable and familiar. And again, I spoke about this the other day, even for myself, like when I'm logging onto my laptop and I'm opening a new tab in my browser and it takes long, and I just get frustrated. I mean, I'm not an impatient guy, but I would say compared to most people, I think I'm pretty patient. But again, it's just a constant overwhelming. So it's not impatience so much. It's just like, I don't know what it is, eh? But again, that we become so dependent. I mean, even if we, there's a big warning about AI, and look, we need to slow down, and Elon Musk talks about that sometimes, but at the same time, he's the one doing the Neuralinks and all this other stuff. So we wouldn't. We really have passed that point of no return in regards to, look, this is compromising our humanity and well-being, in the future generations. We need to kind of slow down. It's like, sorry, buddy, no, at all costs, we must have this connectedness. We must be online 24/7, every second and every minute of every day. And this has happened overnight, so it's pretty scary, our dependency. And again, this stuff cannot be taken away. We would literally lose our minds. Yeah. I remember in the movie Star Trek, where there was the Borg, and the Borg were like sort of humans, well, not really human, but they had in their brains, they had a software, some kind of device that connects them to the hive mind, and they could all hear each other's thoughts. They were always connected, and when one of them wanted to break free of that, it was I can't remember the whole story, to sort of unplug, and the anxiety that they felt from not hearing everybody's thoughts and not knowing what's going on and not being so-called connected. You see, because essentially our being, our spirit, our soul is all about connection and longing to source. Just as much like a dog longs to be with its owner, just that company, just that connection. There's something there. There's an energy there. There's something. There's no question about it, and that's what we long for. And we long for that in ourselves. We don't even realize it. Closer to our soul, if you want to call it higher self, pure being, our authenticity, that which is real. Because it's not nice to get lost. It's a terrifying feeling, and that's what I kind of wanted to talk about just very briefly. Is that for myself, again, how is it that I get lost? How is it that I sort of, I don't know. I mean, what I do is I really put other people first before myself a lot of the time, and I pay the price dearly. I'll give you an example. So I sell Kratom. I'm a kratom vendor, if you want to call it that. And there's a guy in East London, Justin, and he's often running out. And, sometimes I have a bit too much or my business is so slow. And, he asks me and I go out of my way and I give him more than I should. All this happened recently. And now I'm like running short. I mean, put in a new order, but it takes some time to be shipped from overseas. And, customs can block it. And there's a whole story and it's risky. And I shouldn't have been so accommodating. And that's my problem, is that I'm so accommodating for people because I like to, because I want to do it for people. It's just my nature. But at the same time, it just generally costs me. There's another woman that also with the kratom, but just people in general, how again I feel that if I can be of service to others, not everybody, but that I can, it is a part of my nature, and it is a part of feeling important. And I think that is for me, I feel important, I feel significant. And that's a very big thing in my life, to feel significant and important, to be seen, And so I don't do it like we're in an exchange. I do it as, I'm saying, I don't sort of go out of my way. And then, okay, if I go out of my way, then you got to see me. I think it's kind of just a given. I just think, you respect me, you recognize me, you see that I'm somebody important in your life, that I'm of service, that we share something, that we're working together, that you'll respect me, you'll have my back in times of need. I mean, this is all about living in a tribe, in a community of where your reputation would be on about how much you would actually give, not how much you would have, in a sense. And so I don't know, I think that's how human beings operate, but I'm doing it to an unhealthy degree because there are unhealthy people around. And it's not, I can't blame them, because this guy Justin was saying, look dude, it's your call. I mean, whatever you can provide, I'll take. Like, please, don't put yourself out. And I wasn't even thinking at the time. I wasn't even thinking. I don't know if that was so much about making him happy. It could have been. I could have been unconscious at the time. I mean, who knows? You just don't know these things. I mean, it's sometimes tricky. But like I know for this woman, Amalia, she's been a disaster. She owed me money for a very long time. And then when she would call and say, hi Aaron, do you want to go in for an order together on kratom, like from overseas, from Indonesia? Do you want to do that? I was like, yeah, why not? And just so happy to, because I know she's going through a hard time. And even recently, like I was putting in an order and I could have phoned her up and said, hi, Malia, do you want to go in on an order with me? Oh man, and I was doing a voice, because she asked me, do I have kratom? Do I have like green or white, strain? And I was like, I felt bad for saying that I don't. And let me see what plan I can make. I mean, you're in a spot, let me see how I can help you out. But she's put herself in a spot all the time. I mean, she is just she's gone through a very hard time. Her father committed suicide. It was just a hectic thing. But I've known her for a long time, and she just seems to be so dysfunctional and not really, and so immature. I'm not taking it out of context, but again, like, yippee, a reply to, and she's about 45-year-old woman, and she's like a naturopath. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just like bizarre kind of person. But yippee and all these emojis, I can't stand them. Like an angel dancing, a little girl dancing, and just weird, what people do with emojis, just weird shit and over exaggerated. I don't know, I find it so hard with emojis. I just find them so immature. Little monkey hiding, little monkey keeping quiet, the monkey covering its eyes with the hands. And I mean, this is all on WhatsApp, but emojis are the silliest of things. And I mean, grown-up adults are using, I understand for children in a way, but it's actually become a way of how we express ourselves and how we share ourselves. It's crazy. It's become a form of communication. We are so adolescent, and so that's why. Also, this guy Justin, it's like, hey buddy, you see what crack-a-lack, and I don't mind. I mean, that's fine, but also so childish. Like, people are so sort of want you to be impressed with their childishness. ways. It's just, I don't know, heart sore. I mean, I must say. But I mean, okay, with Justin, it's also just very, very immature, very silly, you know. And people say very silly things, and I just can't handle the silliness. And it's just so many people. And yet, coming back to me, these are the people, right, that I'm going out of my way for. That I'm like setting myself up for, for what? Because I feel bad for them or I want to help them out. It's like, yeah, dude, be there for the people which are so few, that really matter in a sense, or that makes a difference. And make sure the juice is worth the squeeze, for heaven's sakes. And don't put yourself into situations where it's just going to be compromising to you. I mean, this Amalia, again, owed me money for such a long time. And then she made a deposit and she put it into somebody else's bank account. So she said, "Hi, Aaron, I made the deposit." I said, "No, I didn't get it." I said, "That's not my bank." She's like, "Whoopsie. Okay, don't worry, I'll sort it out and get back to you shortly." And I went out of my way for her. I really went out of my way. It was hours and hours of work and whatever it might be. And just so and again, I give people a fair price. I say, I paid this for the kratom, I'm not going to make any profit off it. And I think that's reasonable in a way, but I so often, I sell, these damaged ladies' clothing and shoes from my father's company. And I say to people, I look at them and I think, you know what? I mean, I'm getting this stuff for free, basically. I'm just paying for the transportation. So why not? And I justify it. And, it's it's the importance of blessing other people. But, at the same time, and again, I can't be quabbling, or whatever the word is, over a couple of rands or something like that. I mean, I sold this jacket to the lady who helps clean, or she's like a helper, a maid who cleans the guy's cottage, who has the cottage and, rents the cottage here. And her name's Angela. She's a lovely, lovely lady. I mean, very rare person, so I don't mind. But I mean, I sold her a jacket. The original price was 400 Rand. I sold it to her for 100 Rand. And I should have sold it for more, But then again, I didn't come up with a price quick enough. So I work with a lot of different items, where they don't really have a proper price in it. And so again, with the kratom, well, this person, I know that they haven't got much money, and it's not a bad thing. So I give them a better price on it, but then I work hard, and I'm not compromising myself as much because I am thinking of other people, and I feel that if I am a certain way, that I'll be blessed in another kind of way. But generally I'm not. Generally I say to myself, these people really aren't so much worth it. It's different circumstances. I mean, with this, it's different circumstances. I'm just thinking something, yeah. Anyways, getting carried away here. I think you know what I mean. Remember, I don't know why this comes to mind, I used to read Archie comics. And Betty used to be in love with Archie. And he wasn't really interested in her. He was more interested in Veronica. And I don't know why. Because Veronica, look, I understand there was maybe an attraction. I'm not talking about a physical attraction to Veronica, which is a common, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But there was sort of a feistiness about Veronica, and there is something. I mean, Betty just seemed to be an all-round good girl, and that sometimes can be a little bit, just play by the rules and everything else, and it can be a bit boring, but not all the time. I'm generalizing, and I'm also being silly. But with Betty, she would always do these things for Archie, mow his lawn, do his washing, and then he still wouldn't give her any attention. So Betty's love, I mean, she liked Archie. For what reason, I don't know. He seemed to be such a putz, Again, we can't really get into, Archie's character. But she loved him, and she so-called loved him. I mean, what the hell is love either way? She wanted to matter to him. And, I just see that with, my brothers and my father and their relationship. I just see it so much with people. I said, even with myself in my, one or two personal relationships. you definitely do want to matter to somebody. So it's a bit of a grey area. It's a bit of a tricky situation, you know? I mean, I think about the people that I've gotten involved with in the past, like Marlene and Lom, you know, the Thai therapist, and just, I don't want to get into names because I can't remember who's got my channel, but yeah, I can't go down that road again, you know? I used to sell puzzles at the flea market, and people took my number down, and, oh yeah, dude, let's hang out, and I'm like, what do you do when somebody asks you for their phone number? You see, if it was somebody asks you for your phone number, what do you do? It's hard, you know? I mean, I'm not like a lady who's being asked by a guy and say, look, I've got a boyfriend, I'm sorry. It's very hard. It's like, what's the reason that you won't give me your phone number type of thing? Yes, I'm clipping my nails. Can you believe it? While doing a recording on YouTube. For YouTube. So, what do you do about that? You know? And so again, look, I'm financially okay and I'm blessed. You never know what can happen. I'm saying, you know, expenses and whether it will stop coming in. And I was doing a lot better than I was, but I've had to use a lot of the money, not for myself so much, anyways. But like, so I'm okay. So when I was at the flea market, I would sell these puzzles, and there was this guy. There was this elderly lady and her husband. I mean, you know, and they had a son, which was, you know, he could see he had special needs, and he was hunched over, didn't really talk much. You know, you could see that he wasn't okay, and his whole life is about doing puzzles. He lives with, it's her sister, so it's not her brother. So it is her brother, it's not her son. So here's this woman, I mean, she must have been 75, in her late 70s, yeah. And her husband as well. And then she had her brother that she's been looking after her most of her life when her parents passed away. And here's this guy, and you can see he doesn't talk. He's hunched over. He's, you know, his one eye looks funny, and they say to me, and I don't know whether they have money or not, right? I don't know whether they come from money or not, but. So I say to her, you know, like, okay, if you buy two, I'll give you a discount or something. And because I had it at a cheaper price, and I did raise it after some time. I was selling it for too cheap, and I said I'll give you the older price, so, which is rightly so. But it wasn't more. It was more than that. It was like, you know, I'd say, look here, take this puzzle at 50 rand. It's this very slow selling puzzle, and that was fine because I have this one. It's actually like a one on lockdown, you know, with people wearing masks and whatever. It's just a miserable. It's called Time Capsule 2021 or something like that. And, you know, the mother is wearing a mask in the house, and the children are playing around because it was lockdown, you know, type of thing. And so, and I know I'm not going to sell. I've got like, I don't know, hundreds of those. So I give it to them, and I say, yeah, pay 50 rand for it or something, half price. And she said, and I said, like, yeah. So again, I'm not really going out of my way, and it makes me feel good, but at other times it makes me feel sick. Like, I'm also worried with my YouTube channel sometimes, you know, just giving out of myself, giving over my energy, and again, like, just kind of disrespecting myself, letting myself down. And again, I mean, of course I'm going to make mistakes with being supportive of people, but there is something within me that I need to be conscious of. Maybe I give myself too much of a hard time now that I'm thinking about it. But I don't know. The other day I really let it slip by mistake. I really did something that I'm still very upset about with somebody. You know, I just I can't believe it. You know, again, I spoke on my personal life, like intimate. I did a recording, about an hour and a half recording of what's been going on for me for the last 2 years. And, you know, personal stuff. And I just haven't uploaded it. Again, it's sacred. That information for me, my experience, for people that I don't know, and just putting it out there. What am I doing to myself? But before I was like a martyr, you know, and I said, well, this is my life, and I'm all about growth or, you know, truth and whatever it might be. And so it comes at a cost, and I'm just going to, you know, tell all. And I just feel like, again, I've been seen naked, you know, in a way, by just running around naked, and people are like, oh my God, I feel so exposed. You know, and again, I think if people are a bit more conscious and sensitive, they would see how much they're exposing themselves online, just exposing themselves without even being aware, you know. Again, whatever one is doing that's not in regards to their true spirit or, you know, self-empowerment or self-respect, then the further you sort of dislike it, and the more that you kind of do it, you know, the more you lose respect for yourself, and the more you, like, I just think about, like, with OnlyFans, you know, like, I think with OnlyFans, and some people, right, they're wanting to make money, but they need to make money, put food on the table. Look, I don't know, I can't get into that, but I mean, what people are willing to do to exploit themselves. And the more that they exploit themselves, the worse off they feel, the more gringy they feel, the more crummy they feel, you know, and it's on the scale of so many things. And then eventually, even for a gold digger, and she marries this man, and, you know, I mean, on a soul level, some people are so unconscious, but again, they move further and further away from their conscience and from themselves, because they become so self-disgusting, they don't even realizing it, and so self-shaming. But then it's harder to come back from that. Again, like the ANC government here, you know, and what they've done, and needing to come back from what they've done, you know, to undo, very, very hard. And most people can't undo. Again, that's why he says in Neo, in the Matrix, you know, we don't owe you an apology. We don't wake people up over the age of 30. Not only because the mind has become so constructed, but also I think it's because you've made massive, hectic decisions that are not in alignment with who you are and your truth, and come out of a place of fear, you know, and needing to be approved of, and, you know, just from a place of scarcity. And whatever it is. And so now you've set this whole stage up, this whole narrative, and, you know, maybe you've been a politician, maybe you've been a lawyer, maybe you knowingly put, you know, people, I mean, like that doctor, what's his name, that English doctor, Howard Simpson, I don't know, not Simpson, I think his name was Howard, and he killed over 250 of his patients. I mean, you know, like, you just get worse and worse and worse, and there's just no coming back. And that's where most people are in this world, that they've gone so far from their source, from their soul, from their spirit, whatever it is. They become so corrupted, right? And they're so removed. As he says in The Devil's Advocate, you know, Al Pacino, what's his name? In the movie, I can't remember, he plays the devil. He says, it's my time now. He says, I've nursed and helped man become so depraved, you know, and they've taken it every step of the way. Every time I've given them something, you know, for their own self-destruction, self-demise, they've taken it and ran with it and supported it, and all of these things. That's what they've done. You know, and he says, it's my time now. It's my time to sort of, to shine. And it's true, look around. And that's what is going on. It is the good versus the light. Yeah. So in my ways, and what I'm saying is that, again, I feel like I lose myself when I do these things, and and again, I'm going to slip up, and I need to be there for myself, because it's not like the end of the world, but there's repercussions and there's consequences. You know, again, if I'm learning to trust myself, I don't want to do things that are going to go against my own best interest, and things that I should have been more aware of and paying more attention to. Because then I'm going to do something, and then what's the relationship with myself? It's like I'm letting myself down. It's like a proper relationship. I'm letting myself down. Like, I'm trying to take care of myself, trying to look out for myself, trying to do what, you know, what's in support of myself. And if I don't do that, then I feel crappy about myself. And then if I feel crappy about myself, how does that help things? Where do we go from there? Again, so because I feel crappy, then I want to try and distract myself. I feel bad. So, okay, so what am I going to do? Going to, you know, watch porn? I don't know. You know, distract myself. Go binge eat. Go binge drink. Or something like that, because I feel discomfort in my being. I feel unsettled. I feel anxious. So what am I going to do? Or I'm just going to become depressed. You know, just feel overwhelmed, and, you know, just feel like sullen, and just want to sleep most of the day. I mean, if it gets bad enough, you know, but most people let it get so bad they just go further and further and further into unnecessary debt. And they do it to themselves. They do it to themselves. But I'm the type of person that the person comes to me because they're in such severe debt, and they come and they say, oh, listen, buddy. And I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll help you out. Look, I'm a lot better than I was. But I used to be terrible when I went to the country. I let people walk all over me. I gave everyone my last cent. It was shocking what I did. I didn't know any better. Look, it was a learning curve. It was a learning stage. But now, 14 years later, however long it is, buddy, you can't make the same mistakes like you did before. You really got to break that sort of trend. You really got to take more care of yourself and take your life seriously and take your actions, seriously, and be conscious with it, and grow a spine, for heaven's sakes. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll call this, growing a spine. Yeah. All right, take care.